All right, hello and welcome to this lesson where we're going to finish off this first activity, mock-up. So basically, what I want to do now, I mentioned in the end of the last lesson that we're going to add kind of a textured background. We're going to do that at the end after doing the asset here for the button. There's no really particular reason. I just kind of want to get the assets there first, and then that way I can fully visualize the background and how it's going to look with all the assets already on there. All right, so the way we'll do this is first, I'm going to go ahead and kind of collapse these up so we have more room to work with here. All right, I kind of just got rid of that one and dragged it over here on this quick toolbar. And so basically what we want to do is we're going to go over here and we're going to choose the rounded rectangle tool. All right, and this is a very fun tool. Basically, it does exactly what it says. It's going to make your rectangles rounded with a border radius. Right now, the border radius is set at 10 pixels, which for a document this large, it's going to look like they're non-existent. The rounded border, the corners. So I may up it to just around 15, and we'll go from there. And I just want to zoom up a little bit. And we'll start roughly right around here, and we'll drag out right around a equal distance from the right edge as compared to the left. And basically, we do not want to, or I personally don't for this design decision, I don't want to fill it in with a color that it's basically going to have no color. It's only going to have a stroke. All right, so the way we'll do this is just initially we'll double click on this to change the color, and we'll just color pick the background. And then we'll give it a stroke. So we could double click over here. We can choose stroke. And we're going to bump this up to around 3 pixels. And we'll give this a color here. So we'll click here. And this will be B691FF. All right, so basically you can see it's in the same color range right here in hue, and it's just kind of a mid-light color, so it kind of sticks out pretty decently. And we'll hit OK. Then we're going to take the type tool, and notice how it kind of automatically outlined this. We're going to hit Control H to get rid of that. And then we'll go ahead and left click right at the left edge of this button, drag right around there. Then we'll center in the middle, and we'll type in add a drop. Now the font size is really small right now, that's why we can't see it. So I'll switch back over here, come back to the type tool, and we'll go ahead and drastically increase this, and we'll make it white. Okay, so I'm using Railway Thin. Now Railway, which is right here, is a free font, has a bunch of different weights right here. And you can download that for free, and I'll reference that link. You can just simply also go to Google, type in download Railway, okay? And this needs to be a little bit larger. So we're gonna try 87. That seems to be pretty good right there. So we'll switch to here and the move tool, and we'll drop this down using our down arrow key right around there. And we'll take both of these by holding shift and selecting both of those layers. And I'm going to zoom out just a little bit, and we'll drop this down roughly right around here. Okay, so now what we want to do is kind of start, just add a very simple textured gradient, radial gradient background here. And you could approach this in many different ways. By the way, anything that I'm doing right now in terms of these assets, it's not set in stone, of course. Design is very subjective, but you know, analyzing exactly what we need to design in terms of what needs to be done on the app. This is a pretty clear-cut way to take it in terms of just having a very simple initial screen with add a drop button. Makes it very simple and easy to understand. All right, so for the background, we're going to come we're going to click on the BG layer right here, and we're going to create a new layer. And you can create a new layer just by clicking this right down here, this little icon. And I'm going to switch to the brush tool. And we want a very feathered brush, which the hardness would be 0, but we want it to be really large. We'll see about how big that looks. So that's around 1500 pixels, which seems maybe pretty good. We'll see if that makes sense. I'm going to switch to a specific color code, and we'll see how that works out. That color code is going to be 624898. Hit OK. And I'll just left click once to see, kind of what this looks like. And I may do it in a few other areas. Now, I don't want this button right here to have that fill. I want it to be transparent, so we'll see what that looks like. Maybe one down here, one over there. Okay, so it kind of just looks like lights in the background, but as you can see, there's not a lot of contrast to them. You could even drop down the opacity a little more if you wanted to. Yeah, I'd say right around there, about 86%. All right, so let's switch back to this button here. And we want to make this so it does not have a fill. All right, so right here it says fill. We want to hit this red slash, and the fill is now gone. And this is basically what it looks like. So this is what the app, our intention of what the app is going to look like for the initial screen, our first activity here. All right, so in the next lesson, we're going to proceed with the main interface where it lists out, a lot more information than just these two assets. It's going to include the name. It's going to have a plus button right here and another kind of like a hamburger icon menu here. And it's just a few more other things where it's going to list out each drop and some information along with it, along with this add a drop so they can add another one again. All right, so I'll see you then.